So winter choices when it comes to elastic. This is my top kit case, and I try to carry a range of elastics just to cope with what I'm doing, but obviously I adjust it if I'm going more carpy or whatever it is. Obviously I love a bit of silverfish, skimmers, roach, that sort of thing. But venues that you go to and the depth that you go to can dictate your elastic. So as a general guide, the shallower the venue is, the lighter your elastic needs to be. That's because when you hook into a fish on a shallow venue, they can go left and right and put more pressure on the fish. You don't want it coming on the surface. So take if I was on a 3 or 4 foot deep lake and I was fishing for silvers, I'd be looking at like a single 3 or a single 4 original slip. But if it's a bit deeper, like where I'm fishing today, it's sort of 5.5, 6 foot. I'm looking more 5 and 6 elastic. So, and that's what I'm using a lot of the time to cover my fishing in winter. Now, I'm a massive fan of original slip elastic. As much as I think like Dura slips and hybrid elastics and hollows are great, in the winter, the most reliable elastic for me is the traditional, you know, original slip elastics. They're absolutely brilliant. So, single 5, all my elastics I put through a top 2 when I'm fishing in the winter. So single 5 like in a match kit like that with a roller puller, that's going to be fantastic for fish like 4 ounce to say £1.5, £2. If the fish are a little bit bigger, or maybe I'm just general F1 fishing, then I'm going to use like a single 6, or if they're nice stamp F1s, the Black 8, still one of the greatest elastics ever made. Caught some massive weights on that. You've got to remember that when you hook into the fish, it'll charge off nicely on these single elastics. You'll have plenty of elastic out, but the elastic does power up nicely. That's what happens with these elastics, and it just means when you've got a puller as well, we've got the ultimate combination. So 5, 6, 8 slip, I tell you what, that's covering me for a lot of things in the winter, particularly when it goes mega cold. When things start to go really cold, hollow elastics were always my choice for like general commercial fishing, but I noticed when it went really cold, often hollow elastic, it doesn't seem to work as well. It gets too cold and it doesn't stretch, a bit like my poor cameraman who's shaking today in the cold. Obviously, that's when I'd be looking for your Dura slip. So if you are still going carp fishing or bigger fish fishing, then maybe you want to be looking at like 11, 13 Dura slips, something like that. But check out the original slips. They're an elastic that's incredibly underrated by the sort of general public, if you like. But I can tell you now, most top anglers are using that sort of style elastic throughout the winter because they know it helps them land every fish they hook. And especially, it's the nice thing about it is in match kits, which is how I tend to fish these elastics, you're nice and light in your pole, you can react quickly to bites and make sure every fish, which is critical at this time of year, ends up in the net.